Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. We're going to be doing some more testing in the T2 Exotic Rocket Hawk. This is quite a cheap fit right here. I've actually been doing quite a few T2 Exotic sites, so many that I actually earned back the entire ship right here. You can see the whole inventory is full of loot. Abyss loot, stack all. You can just grab this, put in the inventory, and you'll see the actual price of the whole ship right here. We'll see how much we actually earned because I've done quite a few sites. Let's see now. I think I had a lot of other loot from before. We've got these entropic radiation sinks, some junk blueprints which I'll put in here. And now we can see how much our ship is worth. If we go in here, 42 million. So we were like 110 million ISK before in our total value. Now I have 42 million. This 42 million ISK ship earned back itself and over by doing T2 exotic sites. And I was just testing it. I was not really so used to it. This is the hybrid fit that I was using before. Small shield booster, EM shield amplifier, camp battery, medium regolith, compact shield extender. And I went against some various waves. The very last wave I faced was the most difficult. So I did many sites, and I thought, okay, now I'm gonna like just go relax and just park my ship now in Jita. But then the last wave of that last site, like the third wave then of the last site, was a dual Sansha cruiser wave, and I was thinking, oh, okay, this is gonna be tough. And I almost died, but I'll show you how I tackled it right here and what I learned. So we've got this video right here. Let's get the video up here. You see that there's the two Sanctus cruisers. Just approach them. I'm not taking much damage initially. I just keep going, approaching. They're quite cool, like chill. They're hardly doing any damage to me. They're doing a bit of glances, grazing shots. I'm able to tank it. So that's something I learned, is that, okay, at this range at least, like long range, or like when I'm orbiting like 20 kilometers, something like that, I'm able to somewhat decently tank them by keeping up my speed. But you see, when I get closer, when I keep my like transversal is not as good, I just approach them straight on, they're able to get big hits on me, and that's when you see my shield is starting to go down. And now they're starting to newt as well. So my strategy here was, when I went into this, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to orbit real close with the Rage Rockets. I'm going to just do a lot of DPS up close. But you can see, when I'm up close, my capacitor is not having such a good time right there. See, it's almost completely drained straight away. And that's the thing. With the Sanctus cruisers, their newts, they can become extremely more powerful within 10 kilometers. When you're outside to like 10 kilometers, you see gradually they start to decline. When you're at like 20 or more kilometers, they basically don't do anything. But when I was using a retribution to orbit them in the electric abyss, I was orbiting at 10 kilometers was a big difference from orbiting them at 7.5 kilometers, that tiny difference. And you can see here, I'm almost dying. I'm just trying to get in range, and I was even too far out. I was orbiting 10 kilometers. I should have orbited 7.5 or 5 kilometers I do right here. That's a big mistake. I was wasting a lot of DPS. I was just shooting my rockets into thin air. But here, what I was trying to do is just keep my Afterburner on, because as soon as my Afterburner was on, I was able to get like somewhat decent speed to be able to speed tank. But it's hard when they got the Webifiers at the same time. So I'm just struggling here with the capacitor. The main thing is the capacitor. So you can see here, I'm thinking that, okay, I'm screwed right here. I'm screwed. But I just keep on going, try keeping the Afterburner on. The main priority is keep the Afterburner on and get as many like shield boosts as possible. And that's the good thing about the Hawk and just missile-based ships in general. You can be completely neutered out and you're doing all the damage you can do. Like, there's no difference in damage. And yeah, I'm bleeding to armor now, getting close. But that first devoted knight is starting to go down, and when the first one is down, it's going to be a lot easier, because then I can get like a proper orbit. Because if I'm orbiting one of them, the other one can maybe sort of like get a bit of a different angle so they can shoot me better. But if there's just one, I just orbit it, and then I'm completely avoiding most of the damage from transversal. But I do take a bit of armor damage, because I mean, he did get a big shot in right there, and it was very risky like this. But the thing is, I was thinking, what did I learn from this? Because you can see now it's a bit more safe. I'm like orbiting, and there's like not much damage is being taken, and I'm actually getting my speed up, and he's going down slowly but surely. The lesson I learned from this is that I could have initially, when we were in the beginning, we were a lot more like safe. I can just show you what happens here. I just keep going, just orbiting, and it's just chill. I just destroy him. But the thing is, in the beginning here, when I was going, like at long range, or maybe even a bit earlier here. So you see, I was keeping on my transversal. I was going here a bit to the side, and when I was going to the side, they were getting very little damage to me. So what I should have done here was I sort of switched my rockets to Javelin. I should have taken them out a little bit longer range, because then I won't have to deal with their webs, and the newts. Without the newts, I'm able to tank good. Without the web, I'm able to also speed tank good. So the combination of speed tank and just general tanking will be a lot better. Even though it's going to be maybe slower, you know, the javelin is going to be slower, I think it would have been a better strategy to just go in here, keep transversal up, a little bit longer range, maybe 20 kilometers, and use my javelin rockets, because the javelin rockets have got 23 kilometer range. So we have still got some potential of like kiting a bit. So we'll avoid the newts and webs, which you see here. This is where everything goes downhill. You can see our shields are pretty decent, like a decent level right here. But it's just that when we start getting hammered with the web and the newt, that's when everything starts to go crazy. Another wave I wanted to show you guys is the Cinnabal wave, and we'll actually undock here because we are going to at least run on one side. Let's just see if we can get some filament in right here. Just undock here and go to like a safe spot somewhere, and also form a fleet with ourselves like this. Okay, but here's the Cinnabal wave. Actually, I was thinking this is going to be a very tough wave because Cinnabal wave tends to give hawks a lot of problems. They do EM damage, makes so that they take a lot of like just general damage because EM resist is like really low on the hawk, and then they apply perfectly as well, so it's hard to speed tank them. But we've got a decent amount of tank, and actually it was not at all particularly hard. You see, I just go in here, I take a bit of damage, but I'm able to tank them pretty well. Their newts are not particularly strong either. I think it would be a different story if there was these elite Lucifer Cinnabals, but here we only have these Lucifer Cinnabals. I don't know, you guys who run T2 Abyss, do you get elite Lucifer Cinnabals in T2s? Because I don't think I've ever encountered them. They might, maybe you can find one of them, but I think they're a bit rarer. So it might be that like the worst kind of Cinnabal wave you can achieve in the T2 is like dual Cinnabals like we've got right now. Because I have seen elite Lucifer Cinnabals in T3s, but not T2s. The elite Lucifers are much more deadly than the standard Cinnabals I got right there. But it was just a walk in the park right here. Just went in, took them out with the Rage Rockets, no issue. I just tagged them really well. Okay, but either way, let's go in and do more testing, because I'm starting to feel like this ship is a pretty reliable fit. I'm still worried about Vedmak waves because I've not faced a Vedmak wave, and then I'm also worried a bit about Kikimora waves, mass Kikimora waves. They might be able to get through our tank, but we might be able to get through them because we've got really good natural thermal resist. But still, I'm a bit worried about that. So we'll get in here. Go, go, go. Have I got my implants in? Okay, good. I've not got implants in. Let's get in close here. The Rage Rocket is my default ammunition type. It's the Javelin EM. Javelin for, like, for example, the situation with the Sansha cruisers. EM is for rogues or battleships, just get through his shield quicker. Okay, now I can start shooting. And here with these rogue drones, they do a lot of like damage when you get really close. So I try to keep a little bit of range by holding down Q like this and sort of keep a bit of range, and I activate my shield booster as well. Could be good to have. This is the main defensive capability of the Hawk. There's a lot of these rogue drone frigates, actually, a lot more than I thought, or like I would have expected for T2. Popped. Yeah, it's really simple. Since when you're like not perfectly in range, then they do a lot of missing and grazing shots, and then it's really a walk in the park right here when it comes to these rogue drone frigates. Oh, rogue drone little needle sparks. Yeah, and you apply perfectly with the Rage Rocket, so it's just so simple. But it's just fun. I really love to find T2 capable solo Abyss ships, because they earn a decent amount of ISK, and then you can like earn it back your whole ship pretty quickly. It feels like really nice to earn back your ship's whole fit just like that by just doing a few sites in a relatively cheap ship. The main thing is sort of capitalizing on by using these assault frigates like this is that you're using your good skills, because these require a bit of skills to use, like in terms of in-game skills. It does also require, you know, piloting skills as well, but I'm mainly thinking about the in-game skills. And something I also noticed when it comes to the loot drops, the T2s, is that we have an extremely high likelihood of getting the T4 filaments compared to the T1 Abyss sites. So even though the T1 sites are a lot quicker than the T2s, because I've always been thinking like this, that okay, T1s, they're usually a bit better to do because they're a lot less risky than the T2s. And they give about half the loot, but you do them like almost double or half the time. So just thinking, okay, what's the point? But the thing is, I noticed that with the T2s, it's such a high likelihood of getting the T4 filaments, and the T4 filaments can be worth a lot. Raging Electric and Raging Gamma can go for like 8-9 million ISK. So just like that, you get a big chunk of ISK like that. And then I think in general, Mutaplasmids, they're a little bit higher tier, a lot more likelihood. So when you compare like the average, normal standard loot cache you get, like, you know, with Triglavian survey data, maybe a random crap filament, then it's usually about double the amount of ISK you get in the T2 to T1. But when you get the lucky drops hit a lot harder in the T2 than the T1. Because T1 lucky drops, I get T3 filaments all the time. The most expensive T3 filament, I think, is a T3 Gamma or T3 Electric. They go for like 1 or 2 million ISK. Okay, this is where we've got some Kikimoras. I think it'll go alright. The Drekavac variant is a bit easier. But when it comes to it feels like the likelihood of getting a T3 filament in a T1 Abyss site is the same likelihood of getting a T4 filament in a T2 site. Because I just think that's how it works. You got upper tier, it increases the tier of the loot drops. Not scientifically proven, but that's the feeling I get from getting lots of loot caches from these sites. And it's a really big jump up in the filament price, T3 to T4. Really big jump up. And there's also more likelihood of getting T5 filaments compared to the T1, like T1. I think I maybe have once got a T5 filament. Otherwise, it's always been getting the T1s. Oh, they're kiting me. What are they doing? I'm just a bit not got so many words right here because they're kiting me to quite a big degree. What the heck? They're going to the D automatic suppressor as well? Oh, we're taking a lot of damage as well. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we might die here. Come on, take him out. Take him out. Please take him out. Need to orbit this Drekavac to avoid damage from him. Oh, we have to reload as well. Please, I do not need to die here like this. This is quite embarrassing. Overheat the damage as well. Come on, Rage Rockets, do your thing. Take out that one Kikimora and it should be alright. Come on, Kikimora, die. Die, Kikimora. Oh, you might die here. Okay, Kikimora there. Orbiting the Drekavac. Okay, we're attacking someone now. A lot of the damage is in that Kikimora. Overheat the damage. Overheat the damage. We need the damage to be overheated. And it's hard with the D automatic suppressor there as well. Oof. Oof, come on. Come on. Take him out. One Kikimora left. Overheat a few cycles. Yeah, it's rough right here. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. But we took out that Kikimora. That's good. So now we should be able to keep at range. I don't know what was going on in the beginning. They were keeping such range, and I think it's got to do with the Kikimoras. They've got different AI types. They've got a kiting AI and they've got a brawling AI. When I charged in like this, I think it was like as if I was assuming they were having a brawling AI, because I think if they've got kiting AI, they try to keep range from us. And I mean, we're in a frigate, we're able to get a somewhat decent speed, but I think the Kikimoras are still faster than us because they were going like 1k a second. So it was it was quite deadly right there, where I was seeing them just keeping range, doing damage. That's when we were just there, not able to do anything, very helpless. So that's where something like a Retribution would be awesome, because a Retribution would be quickly able to switch ammunition types to like an Aurora or standard ammunition type, and we'll be able to just take them out, still do some damage instead of nothing like we did right there. Oof. And another thing is that we did a mistake, is that we wasted so much ammunition. We just used all our ammunition, threw it into space, and it was like the ammunition was not doing anything. I was just wasting an ammunition to the point where we had to reload when we actually got in range, and that's where the critical time where we needed to be able to take out the Kikimoras. But it could have been an option to switch to Javelin, so then we would have that, and then we'll be able to at least do some damage, because it's got, what was it now, 23 kilometer range. So you'll be able to do some damage. It will not be a lot, but it'll be some damage, and then when we get in range, use the Rage. So it does 190 DPS, or 187 even, a lot less. But at least it would be something than nothing. But that was an interesting wave right there. We'll go to the next room. Yeah, the Kikimoras, I worry a lot about them. I worry a lot about the Kikimoras because they do so much damage, apply really good. Even though we've got really high thermal resist, I still get worried because they do explosive damage as well. So it would be really nice if we had like an explosive resist module as well. somehow we're able to get that, but a bit tricky. Lucifer Cinnabal, okay. This is where we want Rage Rocket, since they're gonna get really close and personal, as we saw before. We can just approach them like this. Approach them. Little frigates as well. We should maybe take out the frigates because they're already in range. Never mind, we've got the Cinnabals in range now. So we'll just take out the Cinnabals. Should be super simple, like before. Can maybe orbit him close, like 500. Maybe he'll have a hard time hitting. Yeah, he's neuting me, but it's not that bad. Like we saw in that video before, the newts weren't that powerful. Oh, now it's being powerful. Okay. Now I'll go close to the other Lucifer Cinnabal. Oof, that was a wrecking shot right there of 600 damage. Like, what was that? 1/4 of our shield just gone in one shot. Not nice to see those. By the end of the day, you know, you see you got this ship. It's not a particularly expensive ship as well, and you do the sites quite quickly too. So I mean, okay, you lose it, you still earn back the ship pretty quickly. But I think it's definitely, you need to think a lot about the Kikimora waves. I worry about them a lot, and the Sansha cruiser waves as well. They're my big worry. Go towards the biocommemorative cache. And that was pretty deadly as well. They, like, those Triglavians, they were smart. They went and hovered around the Deviant Automata suppressor. Like, they like knew what they were doing, because we've got the, you know, missiles. They're gonna do a lot less damage with the missiles when you got the Deviant Automata suppressor shooting all of them down. Because that was a bit of a spicy wave right there. Okay, let's pop this. Grab this loot container. Okay, so we've got like very average drops right here. 2 million. Like 2 million basically per room, but it's all right. When we get those lucky drops, it's really an amazing thing to see, and you refresh the loot 3 times with the frigate abyss. So I feel like the likelihood of getting lucky drops is really increased just because of how much like rolls you're getting with the loot. But that's fun to see, you know. Hawk in shambles. But we learned some new things. And we could have always used a few boosters as well, because we've not got any boosters in right here. Do we have any in daily login rewards? No. Could use the hard shell and the synth blue pill as well. There could be options too. Then there's also those Halcyon login boosters that seem really cool to use. Let's dock up right here and repair our ship. This is falling apart right there. Okay, but that's some more Rocket Hawk cheap hybrid fit in the T2 exotics. It's fun. It's fun using a cheap ship and being able to like achieve a lot of things with it. It can get quite intense, as we saw right there, but we learn new things. There, I should have probably used Javelin in the beginning, but it's hard. You know, what if how do you know that they're going to be in like a kind of kitey AI style? It's hard to know. And I guess at least something I could have done is not shoot when they're not in range. There's absolutely no point to shoot when they're not in range, because I wasted so much ammunition that way. Yeah, it was a very deadly wave, that one right there. It was really deadly, actually. So we'll see. We'll see what we do in future Kikimora waves, if we're able to survive them, if other strategies are better. If you've got any recommendations of strategies for those kind of waves, you can leave them in the comment section below. We'd appreciate that a lot. And I'm sure other people who are wanting to use this type of fit would do that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.